dark, but I just shared my webcam. So hopefully you can actually see me as well as seeing my screen too.
Okay, yes, we see both.
Okay, great. Are you guys all set? Do you want me to go ahead and get started?
There's still a lot of agents that haven't walked in, but you know,
Okay.
I like to stay on a schedule. I've got to hopefully be done in time to a couple meetings I have going on this afternoon. So I'm sure some of our agents will walk in. Can you see us?
I can't, unfortunately, no. I think sometimes you can share it.
Your little camera button's not on.
Meeting, but usually you can end up just seeing me.
2 down to the right.
Okay, well that's fine. We've got about 7 or 8 agents here. We had 28 confirmed coming, so hopefully they'll come in within the next few minutes. But if you want to go ahead and get going, that's fine with us.
Awesome, that sounds good. So my name is Jill. I am an associate business development manager here on the marketing team of Home Partners. And today I'll be doing the full program overview with you. So I'm going to talk about who we are, what we do, benefits that make us very unique, what it is we can offer you as an agent working with us, what is our criteria for residents, what's our criteria for properties, and then I'll walk you through the process step by step from application to close. What are the steps of the Home Partners process? As you guys have questions, don't forget them, keep them till the end. We're going to do a Q&A at the very end of the session, so make sure that you write them down and don't forget them, but hold them to the very end, and then we'll do a full Q&A once everything is finished. So, Home Partners of America, we are a cash buyer. We have a lease purchase program. So the program is great for individuals who are looking for the benefits of a single family home. They just might be, not quite ready right now, or maybe unwilling to commit to that mortgage for any number of reasons. It's a really good opportunity for you as the agent to take what could be a dead lead or rental lead and turn it into a full sales commission representing a strong cash buyer. Went too far. And our mission is to make homeownership a reality for more people by providing our residents with that transparent lease purchase program, which offers them more choice, more flexibility, and a lot more control. And we are a proven solution. So we have purchased now over 10,000 homes. We've helped about 30,000 people and their pets get into really great homes all across the country. We operate in 40 markets across 20 states nationwide, and we have had some great press written about us. You can find all of those articles and additional ones on homepartners.com on our press page, so it's kind of cool to check those out and see what the different areas of the country have to say about us. Also on the website, you can find testimonials from some of the happy residents that we've been able to help who have gone through and utilized the program. The only tool that you'll need to get started with us is one of our free agent portal accounts, which I will show you all how to sign up for in just a second when I hop over to the website. But on that agent portal, that's where you can find testimonials from the successful agents that are working with us and closing deals with us. We work with tens of thousands of agents all across the country, and we have agents consistently doing double-digit deals with us every single year. Our top agent did 48 transactions with Home Partners in one single year, and he was out of Florida. So there's a lot of opportunity to kind of make this your main source of business if you want to, and we have a lot of agents that are doing that. But it's also really good for the one-off rental leads that you get, or anyone who comes in initially as a buyer and then finds out that they don't qualify for a mortgage right now and you're not sure what options you're really going to have for them. This is then a really good tool to have in your belt when those kinds of situations come up. So how the process works in a quick nutshell, and then I'll delve a little deeper when I hop back over to the website. But when you have a lead that you think would be a good fit for Home Partners, your first step is to invite them to apply from within that agent portal that you'll create. Once they've been approved, you can take them out and start shopping for homes like a pre-approved buyer that meet the criteria of a home we purchase. And as long as the home meets our criteria, Home Partners purchases the home outright in cash. You represent us on that transaction as our buyer's agent, and then you make your full sales commission on the day of closing when Home Partners purchases the home. The resident then becomes our tenant, so they sign a 1-year lease with us. They can renew that lease for up to 5 years in 1-year terms. They can purchase the home back from us at any point during their time there at a pre-agreed-upon price, or they can walk away at the end of their lease term, get their full security deposit back, and treat Home Partners just like a rental program. So we're very flexible. There's no penalty to our residents if they decide not to purchase that home. There's no obligation for them to buy. So it makes us different than traditional rent-to-owns or lease options, if you're familiar with them. We do not have option fees, and we also don't have a down payment that residents would have to forfeit if they chose not to purchase their home. So with Home Partners, it's just a straight lease with a 2-month security deposit that's fully refundable to them. And there are a lot of benefits to us that set us apart and make us very unique. And these are great talking points for when you're walking your prospects through the program. Home Partners actually doesn't do direct-to-consumer marketing. We only market to agents. So whereas tens of thousands of agents across the country have heard about us, 95% of residents and consumers never have. So they're going to wonder who we are and how it works and why they'd want to go with us over a traditional rental. So transparency is a huge benefit to the program. Once the resident enters our program, we will outline the monthly rent that they'll pay for all 5 years they could be there. And we also outline the right to purchase price all 5 years they could be there. So it provides residents with full rental transparency and full rental security. In traditional, rental situations, landlords can pretty much raise rents as much as they want year to year. They can decide to sell and kick the resident out, or sometimes they get foreclosed on and the resident's then forced to move out. So that's a huge benefit to the program. All of our residents know they're guaranteed that home for the next 5 years if they want it, and they get to know exactly what their rent is going to be for the next 5 years, which is a really great tool for them to be able to budget and plan having that visibility into the future. Choice is one of our more unique benefits. So if you have someone who's looking to rent specifically, or someone who maybe doesn't qualify for a mortgage right now, they're then kind of stuck with what's on the rental market, which can be sparse, limited in options, especially depending on which neighborhood they're looking to live in, or the quality of rentals just doesn't match up to the quality of the single-family homes listed for sale on MLS. Lots of people living in an apartment would much rather have a single-family home instead. So our program is really unique. It's opening up those homes that are listed for sale on the MLS as now potential rental options for all of our residents. And then control and flexibility. So residents are in full control. They only sign 1-year leases at a time. So they're not obligated to all 5 years if they don't want to. They can renew at the end of a lease term for up to 5 years if they'd like, or they can walk away at the end of a lease term and get that full security deposit back, or they can purchase the home back from us at any point during their time there. So if residents do want to purchase their homes back from us, they do not have to wait till the end of a lease term to do it. They actually don't even have to wait till the end of their first lease term to purchase their home back. We've had residents in their home for 2 months, 3 months, and now they want to purchase their home back from us, and they're fully able to do that. So residents have a lot of control and a lot of flexibility with the program, which of course opens up now new opportunities for you as the agent working with us, because now you have a whole new pool of clientele that you can work with. Now you can work with renters, you can work with people denied for mortgages, and still make a full sales commission and get them into a really good single-family home. You also get to represent a cash buyer, which of course sellers love. They would much rather have a cash offer than a mortgage offer. We have no mortgage contingency, no appraisal contingency. We close in about 3 to 4 weeks, and we're generally pretty aggressive with our offers as well. So feel comfortable knowing that, but despite the fact that we're a cash buyer, we are not going to come in and lowball your seller like other real estate investment companies can kind of have reputations for doing. There are 4 essential categories that people fall into that we find can be really good Home Partners candidates that you can now market to or that you might come across. The first actually being renters. So renters are not on this list, but renters are great candidates for Home Partners. People who are not even interested in owning or purchasing a home. They would just like the chance to live in a single-family home with rental security for 5 years instead of a tiny apartment. You get to make a full sales commission on what could have been a rental commission, and the seller gets a cash offer on their home. They don't have to become a landlord. So renters are great candidates for Home Partners. Relocation clients, people who are moving in from out of state or out of area, who maybe don't know the neighborhoods. They're not sure where they want to live just yet. This is a great option for them to test the neighborhood out and get familiar with their new commute, see if their kids like the schools first before having to commit to one specific area or neighborhood. Or if you have relocation clients who maybe aren't going to stay long, or they're not sure how long they're staying. If you get doctors doing their residency, people in the military, they might only be coming in for just a couple of years, so they oftentimes just get stuck in apartments. So this is a great option for them to still have a single family home, but not have to worry about how short or unsure their relocation is. The future buyers, so the nervous first-time home buyers who are cautious about buying a home right now, this is going to be their first mortgage, first home, they've never owned a home before, and they're not even sure if it is the right option for them. Home Partners is a really good opportunity for those individuals to kind of try before they buy, so they can pick out the house that they want and then give it a test run for a couple of years before they have to commit to that first down payment and their very first mortgage. And then, of course, the clients who come in initially as a buyer and then find out that they don't qualify for a mortgage right now. Maybe they had one of those one-time life events that's affecting their ability to qualify. If you get divorced clients, anyone with a bankruptcy, short sale, foreclosure on their credit history, anyone who maybe had some medical issues that wiped all their savings out, or they lost their job, they might just be a couple of years away from qualifying. This is an awesome opportunity for those individuals to still get into that home that they want and that they need now, but worry about the mortgage in a couple of years when they've had time to work on their situation. Which takes you to the qualification criteria. So what do we look for in residents? What do we look for in homes we purchase? So Home Partners is resident forward first. So that is another big difference between us and traditional rent-to-owns. We don't purchase inventory until we have an approved resident who wants a certain home. So residents get to pick their home. They don't pick from homes that we've already purchased. They get to pick from active listings already on the MLS. They choose the home that they want. So when you're looking to invite your prospect to the program, first step is to pre-screen them. So make sure they meet this pre-qualification criteria first before you invite them to apply. So we have to see an annual gross combined household income of $50,000 or more, and we need proof of stable employment. So we have to be able to verify income, be able to verify their employment. And we can actually do that a couple different ways. So if they are traditionally employed, we can accept 2 most recent pay stubs, of course. If they are self-employed, we accept a 1099 with their most recent tax return. And then if they are relocating, we accept an offer letter from their new job as well. So we have great flexibility there. We don't require 2-year job security like a lot of lenders do. We will do a background check. So acceptable criminal history, no recent history of major drug, sexual, or violent crimes. That could potentially be a reason for a denial. No outstanding apartment collections or evictions within the last 3 years. And lastly, no pending or open bankruptcy. So bankruptcies are okay as long as they're fully discharged. And if it's a Chapter 13, we just have to see proof of a payment plan on it. So they could have had a bankruptcy on their credit history as early as yesterday, but there's no time limit for how long ago bankruptcies have to have been. Just as long as they're fully discharged, we can still potentially work with that resident. Then we have a $75 application fee per household. So that is not per person, and it's not per property, which is another great benefit to us versus traditional rentals. Lots of traditional rentals will charge you $75. Out here in Chicago, it's upwards of $120 per person on the application, per person that you submit to them. So that's a great benefit to the program as well. It's a one-time $75 application fee. Doesn't matter how many people are on the application or how many properties you submit to us. Once the resident has fully submitted their application, it will take 1 to 3 business days to approve or deny them. Once they have been approved, now you can take them out like a pre-approved buyer and start shopping for homes. So Home Partners purchases single-family homes or fee-simple townhomes located in one of our approved communities. We purchase between $100,000 and $450,000, at least 2 bedrooms or more, but no more than 3 acres. And we purchase traditional sale or FSBO only. So we don't purchase condos, no multifamily properties, no commercial properties, and we don't purchase REOs, no auctions, no short sales. So just traditional sale or FSBO only. So now I'll actually hop over to the website. So homepartners.com. So if you have not already signed up for one of our free agent portal accounts, that's the first step you'll want to do if you do want to work with us. On homepartners.com, just click on the sign up button in the top right hand corner, and then click on the green button for sign up for an agent account. It's free, it takes about 2 minutes, and then boom, you have an agent portal. Everything Home Partners will come from within the agent portal, so if you do want to work with us, make sure that you have one. You'll invite your prospects to apply from within there, track their progress, find homes for them, submit homes for them, and there's marketing materials for you to use and customize on there as well. So now I'll kind of walk you through the process step by step. So what does it look like? Application to close. What are the steps of the process? So first step, you found a lead. You think they'd be a good fit. You have pre-screened them. They meet our pre-qual. Now your first step is to invite them to apply to the program. So when you log onto your agent portal, this is what the dashboard will look like. Just click on the Invite Prospect to Apply tab, enter the resident's email, and then a little customized message if you want to, and then send them that invite. Once they click to register from the invitation that you sent them, your information gets embedded in their application as the agent working with them. So always make sure to invite your prospects to apply from within that agent portal. That way they're synced up to your portal as the agent was working with them. Then you can track their progress from the invitation history tab. So everyone you invited is going to show up on the left, and then the status of their application. So you'll be able to see if they have met the pre-qual, failed pre-qual, registered yet, haven't registered, approved, denied. All that's going to show up right here, and you can track all your invites and follow up with them if you need to. Once you have someone who's been approved, now the next step is to find a home for them on the Find a Home section of the website. So here, you can look at the entire metro area, or you can look at a certain city, a certain zip code, a certain neighborhood, however you want to search. It's a pretty flexible function. And then you'll be sent to the Find a Home page of the website. So what we're doing on the Find a Home page of the site is we are pulling twice daily from the MLS, and we're filtering through to only show those homes that meet the criteria of a home we purchase. So we don't own the homes on our website. It's not guaranteed that we buy these. These are just active listings currently on the MLS that meet that base property criteria I mentioned earlier. So this is the best place to start with your approved resident because we're already filtering your MLS for you. You'll see a list price of the home. You'll also see a rental amount assigned to every house. So when you have an approved resident, they will get approved for a certain amount of rent. And then you can filter the results on our site to only show those homes that are going to rent for what your resident was approved for. And then they can favorite the homes they like within that rental amount with the heart icon, share that list with you, and you can start setting up showings for what it is that they'd like to go see. When you click into a specific listing, that is where you'll find the rental amount outlined for all 5 years that they could be there. And we estimate the right to purchase price for all 5 years they could be in that home. So the rents on the website, what you see for rent on our site is locked in. So these numbers are not going to change no matter what we get the home for in negotiation. So the rent is increasing 3.75% per year, and that's nationwide. So that's actually across all of our markets. The rent increase is 3.75% per year. And what you see on the website for each year of rent is what that home will rent for, no matter what we actually acquire the home for. The right to purchase price numbers on the website, those are an estimate. So those numbers are going to change depending on what we actually get the home for in negotiations. The right to purchase, what we do with the right to purchase price numbers on the website is to kind of give them an idea. We take whatever list price is of the home, we estimate closing costs and repairs, and then we add on our 5% market increase for Florida, and that's what you get in year one. Then it just increases 5% every year after that. So if we got this home for, $285, right to purchase price numbers would all adjust up. If we got this home for $275, right to purchase price numbers would all adjust down. Meanwhile, the rent will stay the same. Then once you have the approved resident, you found the home they want, now you submit that home to Home Partners. So you submit the property right here on your agent portal with that blue button. When you submit a property to us, we'll ask you for a few things with it. So we'll ask for the MLS listing sheet, the seller's disclosure note, lots of updated photographs of the home, as many as you can give us, and then we'll ask you a couple questions about the property as well. Once you have all that information, you fully submit the property to us. We send that right to our underwriting team for that home to be underwritten and evaluated. We can underwrite a property in about 4 to 6 business hours, and that is 7 days a week as well. So acquisitions is on every day of the week. They can underwrite about 4 to 6 business hours. Once they've underwritten the property, they will send the 5-year rental numbers and the 5-year right to purchase price numbers to the resident to agree to first before we move forward on the home. So again, transparency, we want residents to see all these numbers, be fully comfortable with them before we move forward on that home. Once the resident has fully agreed to these numbers, we will then generate the contract for you and we'll return that to you with our proof of funds and a cover letter for you to submit to the listing agent on our behalf. We go into negotiations from there. Hopefully we come to an agreement. Home Partners then schedules and pays for an inspection, and we ask that you facilitate that. Any issues that come up with the inspection, we're going to ask for a credit from the seller at closing, and then after closing, we'll go in and do the repairs ourselves. At the closing table, hopefully we come to an agreement with the seller on those. We close on the home. You make that full sales commission on the day of closing when Home Partners purchases the home. Resident then becomes our tenant. They sign their first year lease, they move in, they can purchase the home back at any point during their time there, or they can walk away at the end of a lease term and get that full security deposit back. So the last thing, that's full program overview, so that's the entire program in a nutshell. So the last thing I'll show you before we'll kind of start the questioning is the marketing tab of the agent portal. So on the dashboard of your agent portal, you'll see the marketing tab at the top. These are all the tools you can use to now start marketing the program. So we've got training videos and tutorials, FAQs and guidelines, and then Home Partners marketing materials. The FAQs and guidelines section, this is really helpful. This section has all of the documentation that details our policies on residents and policies on properties. So you can download any of these documents, print them out, use them for your reference. I definitely recommend it. We have our property disqualifiers, fence policy, flood policy, HOA guidelines, move-in standards, all of that's right here. Then we also have our resident pre-qualification checklist. So this is a really helpful document to print and use to screen all of your prospective residents. This is literally a screenshot of exactly what the resident sees when they're going through the pre-qualification stage of the application. So I definitely recommend having a stack of these to kind of screen your residents before you invite them. Then we have Home Partners marketing materials. So these are all the digital and print marketing materials that you can customize and download and put your contact information on, co-brand, and use to start marketing the program among all your potential residents as well. So take a look at some of those and kind of play around with which ones you'd like to test out. We have print and digital materials on here too. So that was everything that I had for you guys today. So what questions do you guys have? We can kind of start the Q&A. What things do you want me to touch back on, or what questions did you guys have?
Okay, any questions?
How long does it take for the underwriter?
How long does it
Once
take
they submit the paperwork, did she say 36 hours or?
to approve a tenant? Okay, question, how long does it take for Home Partners to approve a tenant once application has been submitted?
1 to 3 business days.
1 to 3 business days.
And for the underwriter, when they send that paperwork to the underwriter when they're ready to purchase? What is the,
Well,
Before the
she's
closing.
asking, will they send, well, they, and correct me if I'm wrong, Jill, I think this might answer the question that's being asked. When you approve our client, you're actually approving them as a tenant, not as a buyer, is that correct?
Correct, exactly. So they get approved for a certain amount of rent.
Yeah.
So because they'll be, they'll renter with us first and foremost, but they of course have the option to buy their home if they'd like to.
Right, and I'm a little bit familiar with the program, so correct me if I'm wrong. When a tenant decides to buy the property, you guys don't actually finance it, they would have to get their own financing, is that correct?
Correct. Yes, exactly. So they would go find a lender of their choice. And yeah, so we're not a mortgage company. They would have to go, if they do want to purchase home back, they would still have to go and then get approved for a mortgage through a lender of their choice.
Okay, so, give me 1 second, she was first. Yumi, you have a question?
Yes, I have a question. What about in the event, okay, that, I do have quite few clients that they don't want it to have a very high market, rent, okay? However, the housing now in South Florida have becoming kind of expensive. If they like a house, okay, but at the moment they don't have enough down payment, okay, to actually qualify for a lower monthly payment, they decide to rent, okay? can I send that property to them for them to purchase it and put it in a rental for the future of them buying that property back within the amount of years that it get them to qualify for that, you know, down payment?
Did you hear that, Jill?
Kind of. It was a little muffled.
You need to
Okay,
get
yeah,
closer
she's
to the
kinda far
computer.
away from my
Okay.
computer.
Let me
Let me
get-
have her step up to the mic.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have a client, okay,
Mhm.
that they actually, don't have enough down payment to qualify to a lower, monthly, mortgage amount, okay?
Mhm.
My question to you is, if they like that property because they really fall in love, okay, is
Mhm.
there an opportunity for them to, rent it by you buying it, okay, if it is obviously qualified within the, you know, whatever, you know, the rental it is, okay?
Mhm.
And then they purchase it back to you guys within, the period of the 1 or 5 years, is that, you know, does that fit in
Yep.
that criteria?
That's exactly what
Yep, exactly. Yep, they could do that as long as they themselves get approved and they get approved for the amount of rent that that home that they want is renting for. And of course, as long as the home meets our criteria, if those things are in line, then yep, they can go through the program. We actually have a lot of residents that do that where they just don't have enough down payment. As much as they'd like to make it a good mortgage payment, they can get approved for a mortgage. They just don't want to, commit to that higher payment until they can put more on the down payment. So then this is a good option for them for sure. They can kind of start already living in that home that they want while saving up for a bigger down payment to be able to make the mortgage payment then a lot less when they do go to actually purchase. So yeah, they could definitely do that.
Now, how can I find out as an agent if that home, okay, what is the, the qualification of the rental for that home? To see if it is
So
more or less below.
Is that home, is it an active listing on the MLS?
Yes, it is.
It is. Do you have the address by any chance? I could actually look it up. Oh,
Yes, it's, 3134, Southwest, 152nd Place.
may not qualify. I can also look up by MLS number if you have that.
Let me look for it, I give it to you in a moment.
Okay.
Okay. In the meantime, I think Miriam, you had a question?
I'm concentrating on that. Right, for the client to qualify, I think you hear me, she hears me well, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
For the client to qualify, I'm sorry, I came a few minutes late and maybe I missed that question. What do you need me to send you from the client, or do you contact them and qualify them yourself?
So you would want to pre-screen them first. So they are, you want to do the pre-qualification with them. So that would be this list here. So you would want to make sure that they make at least 50,000 or more combined household annual income, that they can prove the income is consistently coming in. They have documentation that they can show us that this is going to be consistent income. No history of eviction or outstanding apartment collections in the last 3 years. And then no pending or open bankruptcy, so the bankruptcies can be discharged, that's okay. They just can't be open or pending or unsatisfied. And then no recent history of major drug, sexual, or violent crimes. That could potentially be a reason for denial. It's kind of case by case. Once you know those things are in line, that means they'd be a good candidate for the program. You can invite them to apply. Of course, final approval is subject to looking at their entire financial profile, but if they meet our pre-qualification criteria, that's a good indication that they would be a good candidate for the program.
Okay, we have a lot of people that they make a lot of cash, for instance, tips or stuff like that, and they can prove with bank statements. Is that good enough as an income verification?
Unfortunately not. We can't accept bank statements because we can't prove it's going to be consistent. We can see that it came in, like a 1 time or 2 times, but we don't have documentation proving it will be consistently coming in. So that's the only issue with bank statements.
So if we have
That's really
24
funny.
months, if we have
Go ahead.
24 months bank statement proving that the money comes in, the funds come in consistently, would that be something?
I still don't think so, but I can check. if they have like full 2 years worth of a certain amount worth of bank statements. I can check on that. I don't think so, but I'll double check. I'll get back to you on that one. I'll ask my acquisitions department.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
And Jill, at that point, would W-2s and tax returns
Yep,
be a good
yep.
substitute?
They could show, yep, exactly. If they can show like a 1099 or a W-2 with their most recent tax return, that would be proof that it was claimed income, and we can see, okay, they did claim this. This is income they had coming in. They paid taxes on it. We know it's going to be consistent. So yes, if they had that, then that would work.
Okay, thank you.
Nixter, you have a question?
If
Speak up, speak up.
if they don't purchase the house within the 5 years, what happens to the house? Do you guys look for someone else to rent it? Do you guys sell it?
We do. So we will actually keep the home as an investment property, and then we re-rent it through our in-house property management company.
Okay, actually, that kind of leads to a question that I had on some notes that I made. When it comes time when it comes time for that, if in the event that you have to rent the property or even sell the property, is there any listing opportunities for us as agents?
If we say that one more time.
When it comes time in the event that you would have to lease it out again or even put it on the market for sale, is there an opportunity for us to list those properties?
No, because we don't resell them. So we're not, we maybe in a couple of years we might think about it, but right now we're not reselling them. So they would just, our property management company would find regular renters through them, for them, at that point if they choose not to purchase them.
Okay.
At the time of purchase, does Home Partners of America appraise the property? Or
The
how does
question
Oh, yes,
is-
so no, we don't do an appraisal. We do a BPO, but we don't do an appraisal.
Yeah, so there's no appraisal contingency, which in a way makes it a very strong offer for the seller.
Mhm.
Yeah. Nick, you had another question?
I forgot it just now.
Christian?
During inspections, do they have somebody who comes out and takes, or do we send them the report, or how does that work?
Yeah, how do inspections work? Do you do, like a property inspection during the inspection period? Do you send somebody out or how?
Yes, we do. Yeah, so we will find the inspector, and we schedule and pay for the inspection. It's a 2-week inspection process, and we find the inspector and we kind of schedule and pay for it. We just need your help, obviously, getting into the property for it. But yes, the inspection is done through us, so we would do that.
So when presenting an offer, you prepare the contract, correct?
Correct. Yep. Standard state contract we generated for you, and then we return that to you with proof of funds and a little cover letter for you to submit to the listing agent, so they know kind of a little bit about us. It kind of gives them a little bit of an idea of who we are and how it's going to work from the listing agent's perspective. And then so we'll generate it for you, fill everything in, and then return that to you with our proof of funds.
Okay, and as long as we're talking about inspections, the reason I ask that question is when we receive that contract to present to the seller, you're gonna have a certain amount of days in the inspection period. I have seen a trend here in our local market where inspection periods are negotiated down to as tight a window as possible. Are those timeframes for inspections negotiable?
Say that one more time.
Are the timeframes for inspections negotiable? For example, you say you need 14 days.
Unfortunately not.
Okay.
So we
That's
have
okay.
it's full 2 weeks, we can't expedite it. I actually had a couple agents ask me about that, just last week. So the inspection process is set, and is, it's full 2 weeks, and we can't expedite it or shorten it.
Okay, that's good to know, guys, because when we are presenting an offer, we have to make that very clear, that the inspection period is not negotiable. Because what we see is a trend of, the sellers wanting to cut that period down to 7 days.
Yes,
kind of like-
exactly, yeah, exactly. Or we'll see, like, I've seen, agents who have, they have an individual who kind of has like they want to get into the home faster, so they'll ask us if we can expedite certain processes to get them into their home quicker. And we can't do that, unfortunately. So the resident does still have to make sure they have the full time frame needed to be able to let the process go as far as what our closing process goes. It's a 2-week inspection process, and then it's 2 to 3 weeks to do the repairs before the resident can move in. We've already closed, of course, after the inspection, but we need the full 2 weeks for the inspection. Takes about 2 weeks to do the repairs, sometimes 3, depending on how expensive they are, and then the resident gets to move in. So it's a good expectation to set for the resident to make sure they have that full month before they need to move in, sometimes a month and a week, before they have to be out of their current place and into their new place.
Okay, so I guess it's safe to say that your timelines on your offer are not negotiable.
Correct, yes.
Okay. All right, Christian, you had another
I
question?
have like 2 questions, but
Go on.
one is since we're not, I mean, the buyer is the one who's gonna move in and he's gonna rent, but they're the ones giving up the funds and sending over the offers. Are we gonna have a representative, like a representation that we come to speak to with like anything that comes up, or like how does that work?
I don't quite understand the question.
So let's say the buyer is qualified, right, and we can go out and look for properties. Do we have a home partners representative?
It's actually a tenant at this point, not a
tenant.
buyer.
Tenant. Do they give us a representative throughout the transaction that we speak to, or who do we speak to when we need to relay information?
I think I know where he's going with the question. When we have a tenant that's qualified in the process of finding that property and placing that offer for purchase, do we have a particular representative that we deal with?
Right. Throughout the whole
Yeah.
transaction.
Yeah, throughout the
Yes,
whole
and
process.
then once the resident has found the home they want, you submit that home to us, then the closing process starts, and you'll be speaking to a representative from every one of our departments as the process goes.
Right.
Once you submit the property to us, now you'll be dealing with our underwriting team. Once they've underwritten it, they send it to our transactions team and our negotiating team will be helping you with negotiations. Then you'll be speaking with our inspections team. They'll talk you through the inspection process, and then you'll work with our closing team. So there'll be a representative from each group of our closing staff, acquisition staff, that will walk you through each step of the process, and they're very communicative too. So they'll reach out to you each step that you're in, so you'll always know who your point of contact is.
Okay. Michael, you had a question?
Yeah, so when it comes to purchase price, right, and Home Partners of America will negotiate that price, will the tenant have like a choice of having like a maximum, what Home Partners of America would pay maximum for it, so they don't have to overpay for it in the future when they hopefully choose to buy it from Home Partners of America?
Okay, did
I
you?
kind of caught that. Can you recap it?
So, in other words, when Home Partners of America is gonna buy the property, right,
Mhm.
purchase the property, how do they determine what they're gonna pay for the property? And does the tenant
Yeah.
have control of what they more or less want Home Partners of America to pay for the property, as in like a max cap? Like they don't want you to
Yes,
pay one.
they
certain amount.
do. I think I see what you're saying. So when we underwrite a property, when they submit the property to us, they say this is the home we want. The underwriters will actually create a range of what we're gonna come in at with our first offer, and then what is our highest and best offer going to be. And we negotiate with the seller inside of that range. We send the resident, before we go into negotiations and draw up the contract, we send the resident those numbers, the 5-year rental amount and the 5-year rental purchase price numbers for them to agree to. We're sending them the highest and best offer. So we're basically sending them to agree to, this is the highest amount you ever have to pay for this home. Kind of like worst case scenario, this is the most we think we would ever go on with home. And they agree to highest and best offer. And then we negotiate inside of there. So usually what they end up signing, as far as the right to purchase price numbers, is not actually what they end up having to pay, because we usually get the home for less than that. They sign worst case scenario, if we're really negotiating hard and we have to go all the way up to the highest and best offer, this is the most you'd ever have to pay for this home, year 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. They can come back to us and say that's too high, even in year 2, I just don't think we could do that. Can you bring the highest and best offer down? So they can let us know in that period of time, once we've underwritten the property, we've decided what that range is going to be, the resident can kind of tell us if they want us to come down a little bit and say, okay, we think the range is too big, that's too high at the high end, bring it down a little bit more, and this is what we think we could do, worst case scenario, if we had to get it at highest and best offer. So they have control before we even go under contract with the home to let us know and be comfortable with those numbers and let us know, okay, I think your highest and best offer is a little bit too high, we don't think we could do that, can you bring it down? So they can talk with us about what that range should be and how much they think they could afford versus how much we think the house is worth in a range, if that makes sense.
Okay. Annie, you have a question?
Yes. I sent a couple last week to you, it was Thursday or Friday, and I received an email that, well, they paid the $75, and then I received an email from you saying that you declined them. But I don't know the reason. I don't know if it was they didn't have enough income.
If they were declined, for privacy laws, we have very strict privacy laws. We can't share that with agents. I'm actually not even allowed to know. So the reason they were denied can only be shared with the resident. So there's an email at the bottom of their denial email. There's an email to our applications department at the bottom and a phone number. Have them contact applications. They can send them an email or they can give them a call on that number, and they can walk them through the reason for their denial. So they can let them know, and they can actually, if they give verbal permission to have you on the call, if they do want you to be a part of the call to hear the reason, they can do that. We just have to have their permission first before we can share it. So the system will let you know, the agent, know that someone was denied, but they can't tell you the reason for privacy laws.
Oh, yeah, because I don't know if I can help them with another thing or another list, because, I know that they have only one card payment in the credit, but I don't know if you don't work with the alternative credit like cellular or insurance, anything like that?
As far as like their insurance payment,
So like alternative credit, you still have some.
Alternative credit? I'm
Yeah.
not sure what that
When you
means.
don't have enough credit, credit cards or some banks, they work with that. If you pay your electricity, your insurance.
I guess what she's trying to get at, if the tenant doesn't have a whole lot of credit to show, will they look into other things like maybe utility companies that they've been paying, insurances?
Yes, we will. So we look at full financial profile. So we'll pull their entire credit history and look at their entire financial profile, what they're making, what their bills are, debt to income, rent to income, what's their credit score, any history of outstanding apartment collections, evictions, things like that. So we do look at everything. So we won't look just at the credit score. We assess the full financial profile and their financial history as well. We find a 575 or higher has the most success with the program, but we take the weighted average of the home. So FICO score is kind of a little bit of a gray area, just in the fact that if it's multiple income earners, which usually it is, it's kind of rare that we see one person going through the program. Sometimes it happens. And if it's one single person, a single applicant, they'd want to be at least a 575 or more. If it's a household, we'll take their weighted average, and whoever's making more in the home, their credit score is going to get weighed heavier by the person making less. Because we look at, of course, if they're making more money, we'd assume that their credit score should be higher. They're probably able to pay more bills. So if it's a husband and wife, for example, and husband makes more and he's at 650, wife makes less, and she's at like a 560, then they might still qualify because husband's making more and his credit score is higher than hers, and we're going to weigh their average a little heavier on his end because he's the higher income earner. So with a single applicant, they'd at least want to be at 575 or more, but if it's a household and there's multiple income earners in the home, we're going to take the weighted average of the income earners.
Okay.
Sergio.
Yeah, Annie, I would suggest to tell your clients to, like I said, check that email and maybe contact Home Partners, and they can give them a reason why they've been denied.
They made $50,000 between them.
Yeah, well, there's got to be a reason, but they can find out. Yeah, they can find out. Barbara.
Yeah, we need to ask about if she has a list for requires.
I'm sorry?
Si ella tiene una lista con los requerimientos para salvar money
Yes.
and time. So.
Yeah, they do, that's all on the webpage. The question is, do you have, and Barbara, correct me if I'm wrong,
The list
if
of-
they have a list of their criteria and, yeah. Do you have a list of the criteria? In other words, right now on the screen, we're looking at qualification criteria. That's right off of your
Yeah.
webpage, right?
Yes, it is. So on the agent portal, when you log on, it'll boot me off. Then you'll see under the marketing tab, so go to marketing, and then go to FAQs and guidelines, and then go to application information, and here's the resident pre-qualification checklist. So then you can download and print a stack of these if you want to. So then this is literally every question we ask them when they're going through the pre-qualification stage of their application. So this is literally that entire qualification criteria, and then a little bit extra as well. It's literally every question we ask in the pre-qual stage. And you can print, again, you can print a stack of these if you'd like to. So that's that list of pre-qualification for the resident.
Okay, Barbara, does that answer your question?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Joe.
you.
I've got a, Nick?
If they're already renting the house that they want to buy, and the owner has expressed that he'll sell it to them, what do we do about that?
Okay, the question is, if there's a tenant already in place on the property and they'd like to purchase it, how does that work?
So that one, it can work. But a couple things kind of have to be in place for it to work. So first of all, the home has to be qualified with us, and the tenant would have to qualify. So the tenant themselves has to qualify for the program. They then have to get approved for the amount of rent that home is going to rent for, because we're not going to rent it probably for what they're already renting. So they have to be ready for a rental change, because what they'll rent that home from us for may not be what they're renting for it now. So they have to get approved for the program, approved for the amount of rent that home is renting for, and then it can work. So as long as they are approved, the home is approved, and the resident gets approved for that amount of rent that we're going to rent the home for, then they can do it. So it can work. It's just kind of certain moving parts have to be in place for that to work. If there's already a tenant in place and they want the home that they're already in.
Okay, yeah, so basically they just have to go through the process. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. And they have to make sure that that home that they really want is approved and is renting for what they're approved for.
Okay, Maria Teresa?
On the event that they are foreigners, any special or specification?
Okay, I guess that's a good question for our market here in South Florida. In the event that the tenants applying are foreigners, are there any special requisitions or any special conditions?
Say it again?
In the case that the tenants applying for the approval are foreigners, are there any special
Yes.
conditions?
There are. So we can only accept social security numbers if they want their income to count. People can live in the home with just an ITIN, but they can't, their income can't count. So we can't have any income earners with just an ITIN. They can live in the home, but their income won't be able to count unless they have a social security number.
Okay. Boulay, you had I'll get to you in a minute.
Yeah.
What's the lowest credit score?
The lowest
575.
credit score, I think you said 575?
For singles?
Correct, 575, yep.
Yeah, 575. Christian, you had another question?
Yeah, when is the BPO done?
When is the BPO done? Is it once it's, I guess, in the negotiating process, right? Or the approval process?
Or is it at the
Mhm.
offer, since there's no appraisal
Or it's in the
contingency?
underwriting process.
Because there's no appraisal contingency then.
Well, the appraisal would come, technically, the appraisal would come as part of a contingency in the contract. I'm assuming, Jill, and correct me if I'm wrong, that the BPO would be done prior to even placing an offer on the property.
That's a good question. I think really good question. I know we do a BPO. I'm not sure what stage of the process we do it in.
It matters because if there's
I'll have to
Well,
check. I actually thought it was during the inspection process.
Okay.
that makes sense.
I don't think it's prior to going under contract. I think we do our BPO during the inspection process, but I'll double check with acquisitions and I'll get back to you on that one.
Okay. who else? Yumi, you want me? Okay. The property that we were discussing a little earlier, I have an MLS number for you.
Uh-huh.
Okay, it's A as in apple. 105 50051.
Okay, it's not pulling on the site, so I don't think it qualifies. If it's not pulling on the find a home section and it is an active listing, it may not qualify. So it might not be in our price point, it might not be in an approved location. It might be less than 2 bedrooms, more than 3 acres. It might be a condo, or at least listed as a condo. Or it might not be a traditional sale or a FSBO. It could be listed as a REO auction or short sale. Those are kind of the basic information that we filter for that could be keeping it from being pulled. But if it's an active listing that's not pulling on the find a home section, it probably doesn't qualify.
Do they have a map?
Okay. Question, does Home Partners have a map? And I would think that absolutely in your webpage, correct?
Yes, we do. So we have, the find a home section, obviously you can take the whole metro and look at the map that way. You can actually just click on whatever metro you're in, and it pulls up this map. So then you can actually see where the homes are located that we're purchasing in. Or you can find it on the front page of homepartners.com, like the very first page when you're right on the website. At the very bottom of the page is the list of the 40 markets we purchase in, all right here. Then just click on whichever metro you're interested in looking at, and there's the list of approved communities in that metro. So those are the 2 ways you can find it. You can find it on the Find a Home section just by looking at your whole metro, or you can go to homepartners.com, scroll down to that first page, and click on the metro, and it lists them out for you.
A newer houses?
I'm sorry?
Are we looking at the age houses? What is the?
Actually, that's a good question. Does the age of the house matter in qualifying the property?
Yeah. Yes, so we can't purchase homes that are built over 100 years ago, even if they've been fully renovated.
Okay, so we can't go back a century, guys. Wow, that really tends somewhere.
I know,
Oh, man.
usually have that problem. It's usually Maryland, it's usually Virginia that sometimes we run into that problem. A lot of those homes are older, but usually Florida doesn't really have that problem.
Yeah, I don't think Miami's 100 years old yet, so.
Yeah, no, I don't think it is.
Yeah. How about new construction?
So new construction, that's a good question. We do work with new construction. However, we have rules for them. So, of course, the home itself has to meet our basic property criteria. But then, with new construction, we can only work with standard state contracts. No builder's contracts and no builder's addenda. So the builder has to be willing to work with a standard state contract. The home itself has to be 100% complete and 100% move-in ready. And the surrounding subdivision has to be 50% complete, 50% sold. So those are the 3 rules for new construction on top of our usual property criteria. Builder has to work with standard state contract, no builders or contracts, no builders addenda. Home has to be 100% complete, move-in ready. Surrounding subdivision has to be 50% complete, 50% sold.
And I would assume that a homeowners association would be an issue as well.
They can be. HOAs are case-by-case basis. So we also have a document for those as well. So back to that same page, the marketing page under FAQs and guidelines, we have an HOA guideline page. So basically with HOAs, provided that the fees aren't exorbitant, that they don't require an in-person interview, sometimes they want a credit background check, which we can't provide. And the biggest one, sometimes they have rental restrictions. If they have rental restrictions or age restrictions, we can't work with those. But this is a good guide for what HOAs we can potentially work with. So the HOAs are case-by-case basis. Sometimes we can work with them, sometimes we can't. So this is a good guideline to kind of give you an idea of the ones that we can work with.
Okay, so there is a possibility there. Yumi, you have?
Is there a checklist for the qualification of the homes in the same way that it is for the residents?
Is there a checklist for the qualifications of the home, or I guess the criteria of the home?
Yeah. Yes, there is. The same section right here, property qualification criteria. So this is all the negative impairments the home might have that could keep us from moving forward with it, including the ones that we can't even filter for in the MLS. So, homes that have sinkholes on the property, or they're built over 100 years ago, or they've got busy highways backed up to the property, or polybutane piping, aluminum wiring, asbestos that was found, things like that. So this is a full list of all the I guess, features a home could have that could keep home partners from purchasing it.
Okay. Michael?
Is there a way to submit certain properties for approval to Home Partners America? To see if they can get
Without having an actual tenant?
No, well, without having an actual tenant and having an actual tenant.
Yeah, Jill, I believe we already went through
Without, because
the
I know.
process of qualifying for the property. We have to have a tenant in place, right?
Yes, you do. Yep. So we don't purchase or assess properties until we have an approved resident who's interested in that property and wants it submitted for them.
So
once we have
the first step obviously would be to get your tenants.
Qualify the tenant.
qualified, yeah.
So we have a qualified
correct.
tenant, and we don't have a qualified, well, it doesn't show up on their system. And they like a certain home, could we submit that certain property to them to get approved by them?
Before having the tenant approved?
No, after having the tenant.
Oh, absolutely. I guess the question is, now we have a tenant who's approved and he knows a property that he's interested in. At that point, we submit that property to you, correct?
Yes, correct, exactly.
Okay.
And I do apologize, I have to hop on to another one in 2 minutes.
Okay.
Do we have any other last minute questions before I have to
One
end?
more question. Anybody, one more question?
Yeah, the last one. I think it's kind of what he answered, just
Okay.
maybe I didn't understand it correctly. Because I looked up Homestead and there's like none there. So is it because if the listings have already been vetted, or nobody has sent a listing to them for them to check it?
Okay, I guess the basis of this question comes from the fact that we have a second office now in Homestead, Florida. He checked on the map right now on your webpage and there is nothing there. Is that because nobody's worked that area, nobody's tried to vet any of these properties, or is it just off the charts for you guys?
It's probably not an area we purchase in.
Okay.
That means the listings already been vetted before.
Okay. Okay, well, Joe, thank you so much for all the information. You have a wonderful
Absolutely.
Friday. Yeah, we have a wonderful.
You guys, I really appreciate your time and hosting me today. And I'll send a follow-up email to you, Sergio, that will have the full slide deck on it that we went over. So you can distribute that to the team. You guys can have all this information to make notes on. And then we'll have my contact info as well. So any and all questions that you guys have moving forward, please feel free to reach out. I'll be your point of contact moving forward for all things Home Partners. So you'll have my work number, my work email, and my cell in case you have weekend questions. So please don't hesitate to reach out with any questions that you guys have moving forward. And if you ever want a refresher course, if you want me to do any of the advanced courses, please let me know. I have pretty open availability for the month, so I'm happy to do any refresher courses or do any of the advanced courses that we have on marketing as well. So look out for that follow-up email. I will send it to, I'll send it to you guys right after we're done today.
Okay, thank you so much, Jill, for your time as well.
Thank you guys so much. Have a great rest of your week.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.